grow strong. They've taken enough.
Mock the roots, and you'll meet what grows in the dark. Hey, Bigfoot. Trying to be Mother Nature now?
What's wrong, Bigfoot? Reforesting your home now.
Mock nature long enough, and it grows teeth.
You threw poison into my roots.
You build with machines. I build with memory.
Every root remembers, every branch.
You're not just trespassing. You're offending. You mocked a gardener. You forgot he was a giant.
Hey, Bigfoot, why don't you go hug a tree and cry? Yo, who the fuck is that? Is that a human? She got blonde hair? Am I in love?
She can't see me. I am the tree. I am one with bark and thirst.
Yo, this ain't creepy. It's strategic observation. Romantic recon, baby.
Yo, I ain't stalking her. I'm just jogging at the exact same speed and direction with deep emotional purpose.
I'm smooth, I'm stealthy, oh shit, log trap, fucking nature betrayal.
What's wrong, Bigfoot? Reforesting your home now.
You won't be laughing when the forest answers.
This forest, it's waking up. I don't follow paths. I make them. This forest, it's waking up.
We're pulling out. I repeat, tactical forest evac. Forest flashbang deployed.
Kevin.
Hit the wrong bush. I repeat, this drill is now real.
If I press this, we enter final nut protocol. No turning back. We've thrown acorns, traps, and sass. Let's talk like forest legends. The roots are deeper than your fear.
You walked into a sacred place wearing mockery.
You forgot trees can scream!
Respect isn't asked for. It's reclaimed.
He dodged the last one. He's adapting faster than I expected. Next move has to count.
Hey, Bigfoot. Trying to be Mother Nature now? Yo, what is that?
That's not a squirrel, me. Hey, little guy, you okay? I was gonna teach this guy how to howl like a wolf. Day one, he tried to eat a pine cone.
Close enough, buddy. We'll get you wild yet.
We run together now. One pack, one purpose. Also squirrels.
He's not lost anymore. He's home.
Lesson 1, stalk your prey. Lesson 2, don't actually chase porcupines again, please.
Yes. Look at this beast you brought down.
Tonight, we dine like legends.
Don't ask questions. He lives there now. He's my shoulder wolf.
Now he's ready to infiltrate the raccoon clan. May the bark be with you.
He's got me in a paw lock. This beast's been training.
Sleep, little wolf. Tomorrow's your big day.
Well, best friend turned into best meal. That was the mission all along. Loyalty. Delicious. Best friend? Nah, best flavored. What? You're supposed to be digested. This is Daisy, my best friend, therapist, and emotional support dear.
Plot twist. Daisy became dinner. Best friend turned into best meal.
He's coming for revenge. I'm not scared of her. Okay? I'm scared of her.
Okay, plan is stay hidden, post this, fake my death, move to Oregon, change name to Carl. This is Kevin. He's my emotional support squirrel now. I'm not okay.
Blending in like a pro. I am the forest. Nothing to see here but a handsome shrub. Guys, I just saw a silhouette the size of a vending machine. Either it's Yeti or a super jacked hiker. Don't worry, buddy. You're coming to the ultimate party. Hey!
Put me down!
Found myself a snack. Or maybe a new buddy.
Bro! I just came here to pee.
Tight but comfy, right? Forest grade hospitality. Ladies and gentle beasts, meet my guest. Hira. He wandered too close to my mushroom farm.
Look, I panicked, I drove, I hit a bush, but I also grilled a trout, so let's call it even. He did season it. Yeah.
Honestly, I was one grilled fish away from prison. Now they're letting me charge my phone. Forest wins again. Tight but comfy, right? Forest grade hospitality.
Smile for the fans. It's me, my boy Jerry the Goat, and the final few seconds of his delicious little life.
Just getting the fire ready. Jerry thinks we're making s'mores. He is the s'more.
Jerry always said he was fire.
You ate my last mushroom snack, Jerry. This is what you get.
Yo, my trainer's a squirrel. He don't talk, just throws shade.
Yo, I squatted yesterday. Stop judging me. You got twig arms, bro.
These dumbbells weigh like 200 pounds, AKA breakfast.
Who invented yoga? Ooh, my spine just filed a lawsuit.
Me versus him. Fur versus fury. One morning to rule the woods. Let's fucking good.
He flexing in silence again. Like a bear monk with a six-pack. I hate him.
They never saw me. Not really.
I was a rumor, a grainy shadow in a photograph, a shaky figure in a distant video. A whispered legend passed between hikers on late night trails, half in jest, half in fear. Some wanted to find me. Others wanted to hunt me. Most didn't believe I existed at all. I do. I walk these forests still, older than the oldest pine, quieter than the snowfall that blankets the mountaintops. I've lived through storms that shattered cliffs and fires that turned the sky red for weeks. I've seen deer go extinct and streams run dry. And once, just once, I tried to change something. I planted a tree. I didn't do it because I wanted attention. I didn't do it for the story. I did it because the forest was dying. Slowly. Silently. The kind of death that creeps in under the bark and eats through the soul. One day I noticed it. Birds had stopped singing in the mornings. The river had shrunk to a trickle. The wind no longer smelled of pine, but plastic. Something was wrong. That's when I found the clearing. It wasn't there before. Not when I last passed through. It looked like a wound. Like someone had carved a scar into the earth and left it to fester. No trees. No grass. Just dirt, broken glass, old tire tracks, and cigarette butts buried in the mud. My breath caught. This had once been a grove of ash and cedar, tall and wise, branches stretching like prayers to the sun. Now it was empty, hollow. I stood in the center and listened. Nothing. Not even insects. I remember dropping to my knees and pressing my hands into the soil. It was warm. Too warm for early spring. I dug a little. The dirt was dry, brittle. It crumbled between my fingers like burnt paper. I closed my eyes and leaned forward until my forehead touched the earth. I stayed like that for a long time. Listening, mourning. Then I stood. I reached into the pouch I wore slung across my chest. Crafted from woven roots and moss, stitched with spider silk, and pulled out the seed. I'd carried it for almost a century. It came from a tree called Atheron, the last of its kind, a sentinel that stood alone in the glacial valley north of the Whispering Cliffs. It had survived 5 forest fires and 2 landslides. When it finally fell, I found one seed buried beneath the roots. I held it as I watched Atheron decay into the soil. I promised I'd plant it when I found a place worthy. But maybe it wasn't about finding a perfect place. Maybe it was about healing the broken ones. So I dug with my hands. Slowly, gently. Weatherspow button. I scooped away the poison and rot until I reached cooler soil beneath. I laid the seed there and covered it with dirt. Then I sat and waited. The sun rose. Then it fell. I didn't move. Not even when the rain came. Not when the wolves passed nearby. I sat beside the seed, like a guardian carved from stone. I whispered to it in my tongue. A language older than trees, older than stars. I told it stories of the old world, of rivers that sang and skies that danced with light. I told it to grow, to remember who it was, to hold on. On the 3rd morning it sprouted. Just a tiny green stem, but it pulsed with life. I wept. And then the real work began. Every morning, I brought water from the mountain stream. I shielded the sapling from wind, from rain, from curious raccoons and grazing deer. I cleared the garbage, dug away the toxins, replaced the soil with rich earth. I carried on my back from deep within the valley. I gave it my breath, my warmth, my songs. I named it Hira. In my language, it means the one who dares to return. Seasons passed. Hira grew slowly but surely. Her leaves spread like hands reaching for the sky. Her roots gripped the soil like they belonged there. A soft hum returned to the clearing. First the buzz of bees, then the chirp of morning crickets, and finally the rustle of wings overhead. Life was returning. And then the humans came. I smelled them first. Deodorant, gasoline, perfume. I crouched low behind a fallen log and watched as a group of hikers entered the clearing. 4 of them. Young, laughing, carrying phones and Bluetooth speakers. They didn't see Hira at first. They looked around, unimpressed. One kicked at a rock. Another opened a bag of chips and let the wrapper fall. Then they saw her. "Whoa," one said. "Someone planted a tree here." They gathered around her. One took a selfie. Another touched her leaves. "Should we leave something?" One asked. "Like a rock or, I don't know, a peace sign." Instead, they left trash. I waited until they were gone. Then I stepped into the clearing, my heart heavy. Potato chip bags, a bottle, gum wrappers, cigarette butts. One of them had carved his name into the bark of a nearby tree. Alex Muloz Asher. I cleaned it all. Every piece. But a shadow had fallen over the clearing. Hira's leaves drooped slightly. The bees didn't come the next morning. The birds were silent. But I didn't give up. More came. Different people. Some were quiet, some were loud. Some brought flowers. Others brought tents, beer cans, and music that made the ground tremble. Some laughed. Some screamed. One even tried to hang a hammock between Hira and a dead tree, nearly snapping her delicate trunk. I never showed myself. Not yet. But I watched. Every time, from the shadows, I watched as they came. Took pictures, left their footprints, their garbage, their noise. I waited for one. Just one. To understand. She came on the 104th day. A girl, maybe 7 or 8, alone. Except for a crow that followed her like a shadow. She wore a red hoodie and held a tiny notebook in her hand. She walked to Hira, crouched beside her, and said softly, "I found you." She didn't take pictures. She didn't touch the leaves. She sat cross-legged in front of Hira and opened her notebook. Then she began to read. A poem. About trees. About growing up alone. About staying strong even when everyone forgets you exist. I couldn't breathe. She came back the next day, and the next. Sometimes she brought a ribbon and tied it to a nearby branch. Sometimes she just sat and drew. She began cleaning the area herself, picking up trash others left behind. She once chased away an older boy who tried to climb Hira's trunk. I began to believe again. But belief
like all precious things, must be tested. On the 200th day, the machines came. On the 200th day, I heard the machines before I saw them. At first, it was just a hum. A distant vibration in the soil beneath my feet. Like something angry waking from sleep. I pressed my ear to the ground and listened. It was coming from the south ridge, from the edge of the forest that touched the outer world. Roads, fences, cities. I stood and climbed the nearest hill, heart heavy. And there, breaking through the horizon, I saw them. Trucks, bulldozers, cranes. Bright yellow monsters crawling over the land like insects, devouring everything in their path. Steel arms ripping trees from the ground, giant wheels crushing the moss and mushrooms. Human men in vests and helmets, barking orders, laughing into walkie-talkies as they laid waste to the edge of the forest. They had found the valley. It wasn't a coincidence. I'd seen it before. Where humans gather, the hunger follows. They needed land for homes, for stores, for roads. They always wanted more. And now, the clearing was in their sights. They were building a trail, a paved path for bicycles and joggers, cutting straight through the forest. Through my forest. Past the glacial spring, right into the heart of the clearing. Right through Hira. I ran, faster than I had in decades. I tore through the trees, knocking down branches and spooking birds into flight. The sky darkened above me, clouds gathering, as if nature herself sensed what was coming. When I reached the clearing, I stopped cold. They had already marked the ground. Orange flags. Bright stakes driven into the dirt. Spray paint in neon symbols. Slashed across the earth like wounds. One flag stood just inches from Hira's roots. They were going to dig here. They were going to pave over her. I dropped to my knees in front of her, breath ragged. She trembled slightly. Not from wind, but from what she could feel beneath. The ground was afraid, the worms, the roots, even the stones. Everything was trembling. I stayed there all night. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. When the sun rose, I made a choice. I would no longer remain a ghost. The first construction crew arrived around noon. 5 men, 2 machines. They laughed as they stomped into the clearing, their boots muddy with the blood of fallen trees. One of them kicked a mushroom. Another stepped over Hira without even seeing her. That was when I moved. I stepped out from the trees. Slowly, silently, and stood at the edge of the clearing. They didn't see me at first. Then one turned. He froze. His hard hat slipped from his head. One by one, the others turned, and the laughter stopped. I didn't growl. I didn't charge. I simply stared, 7 feet tall. Fur soaked from the morning dew, hands covered in dirt from tending Hira. My chest rose and fell with slow, deliberate breaths. My eyes met theirs. I raised my hand and pointed at Hira. Then I spoke, not in words, but in sound. A deep, vibrating tone that echoed through the trees like thunder rolling through bone. It wasn't a language they knew, but they understood. Leave. They ran. One dropped his tool bag. Another tripped. One screamed something into a radio before crashing into the brush. When silence returned, I exhaled. But it was only the beginning. That evening, the girl returned. Her name was Meera. I heard it once. It whispered from her lips as she read from her notebook. She looked around the clearing, confused. Something happened, she said to herself. She knelt beside Hira and touched the soil. She looked up, and for the first time, she saw me. I didn't hide. She stared at me for a long moment, her eyes wide, unblinking. But she didn't scream. She didn't run. She simply nodded, like she had always known this day would come. You're her guardian, she said. I nodded once. She did something I didn't expect. She took off her necklace. A tiny charm shaped like a pine cone, and tied it gently to Hira's smallest branch. I'll help you protect her, she said. Then she turned and walked away. The next day, the humans returned, but not with machines. They brought cameras, reporters, scientists, law enforcement. The men who ran from me had told others what they saw. Now they wanted proof. Pictures. Evidence. Headlines. They blocked off the trail entrance. Drones buzzed through the trees. Helicopters circled overhead. I stayed hidden, watching. Listening. Waiting. They brought motion sensors, thermal cameras, even bait. Meat tied to trees and peanut butter smeared on bark. Fools. They didn't realize that what they were hunting was not a beast, but a guardian. And I was done hiding. That night, I struck back. I didn't hurt them. Not physically. But I made sure they knew what fear tasted like. I rearranged their tents into shapes they didn't understand. Ancient glyphs of warning. I whispered my roar through the valleys, letting it bounce and echo until they thought there were hundreds of me. I moved their cameras, flipped their sensors, left muddy footprints that began and ended in impossible places. Some left that night, others stayed. And then Meera returned with her mother. At first, her mother scoffed at the stories, called them nonsense. But Meera led her to Hira, showed her the tree, showed her the offerings, stones, poems, drawings, left by others who had begun visiting in peace. I watched from a branch above. Then Meera pointed at the sky. He lives up there, she said, in the forest, and he's watching. Her mother looked up, and for a second, so did I. That's when I realized she wasn't just talking about me. She was talking about all of us. The spirits, the roots, the rivers, the wind. The forest was watching, and she had seen it.